Students of class 8A and 8B, today's points are mentioned in the board. Please look at it. Tennis court oath, storming of Bastille, declaration, reign of terror, and last point, Jacobins. First point, tennis court oath. What is tennis court oath? On 17th June 1789, one National Assembly was established by the Third Estate, and that National Assembly decided to introduce a new system, that was one man, one vote. Earlier, in Estate General, there was a system, one body, one vote. But now, Third Estate established a National Assembly and decided to introduce a new system of voting, that is, one man, one vote. That means the number of votes increased in the National Assembly. As a result, the other two estates, the first estate and the second estate, they decided to oppose that system. So they strongly criticized that system, and the demand for the third estate was overruled. On 20th June 1789, the members of the third estate met in a tennis court in Versailles and took an oath that until a new constitution would be framed for France, they would keep on resisting the oppressive rule of Louis XVI. And this oath they had taken, where did they took that oath? They took that oath at tennis court. Where was tennis court? Tennis court was situated at Versailles, a very important place, a very prosperous city of France, Versailles. That's why this system is known as tennis court oath. The king declared the decision of the National Assembly to be illegal, and he dismissed the members of the Third Estates, which led to nationwide dissent. People belonging to third estate, they decided to raise their voice against that system. And next one, storming of Bastille. What is Bastille? Bastille was the state prison of France. That very state prison, its main gate was broken by the revolutionaries. On 14 July 1789, angry people stormed the Bastille prison. As soon as the National Assembly and the system of voting, one man, one vote, was not accepted and was declared illegal by Louis XVI, the angry people stormed the Bastille fort. This was the state prison for political prisoners. The Bastille was a symbol of power and opposition of the ancient regime. The prisoners were freed and jail building was razed to the ground. This incident is known as storming of the Bastille. This event symbolized the fall of monarchy and marked the beginning of the French Revolution. Presently, the day of storming is celebrated as national holiday in France. That means all the political prisoners who were imprisoned there, the revolutionaries of France, they reached there, broke the main gate of the Bastille fort, and set them free. They came out of the jail, joined the revolutionaries, and raised France's first three-color flag in front of the Bastille fort and witnessed a remarkable historical incident on 14 July 1789, the French Revolution. The concept of liberty, equality, and fraternity was established against the unjust rule of Louis XVI. That's why that very day, the storming of Bastille is celebrated as a national day, national holiday in France till today. Now, next point, declaration. After the storming of Bastille, the representatives of the Third Estate, who had declared themselves the National Assembly, took over control of the affairs of France and adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen on 26 August 1789. The basic ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity became the principles of Republic of France. King Louis XVI rejected the declaration. As soon as the state prison Bastille was destroyed and angry people of France, they raised independent flag of France and had declared themselves the National Assembly, took over control of the affairs of France and adopted the Declaration of the Rights of Man and Citizen on 26 August 1789. The basic ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity became the guiding principles of the Republic of France. Louis XVI rejected all these. He rejected that very declaration. The next one, reign of terror. Reign of terror. What is reign of terror? In the year 1792, the newly elected National Assembly, National Convention, declared France as a republic. King Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette tried to escape to Austria but were captured and executed. King Louis XVI was guillotined on 21st January 1793 and his wife was kept captive and guillotined after 9 months. Conflicts of interests were brewing among the members of National Convention, and the king's execution added to this tension, making the most of the unrest. A group called the Jacobins under Maximilien Robespierre took control of the National Convention and initiated a series of radical measures. Whenever the National Convention was established and Louis XVI and his wife Marie Antoinette were caught while leaving the place for Austria. They were leaving the palace for Austria. Both of them were executed under the decision of National Convention. After the death of King and Queen, one person took all responsibilities over the politics of France. He was one Jacobin known as Maximilien Robespierre. Maximilien Robespierre, his 10-month period from 1793 to 1794 was a period when people suspected to be opposing the revolution were executed. So people during this 10-month period under Maximilian Robespierre, people who were suspected to be opposing the rebellion or revolution, they all were guillotined, executed. The suspects included ex-nobles, clergy, members of other political parties, and even members of the Jacobin party also. Since the National Convention was a convention of the Jacobin party, the Jacobins established it, and its head, Maximilian Robespierre, declared that even one Jacobin also would be punished if he once was suspected to be uh, opposing the revolution. So within this 10 months reign of terror, saw the rationing of food grains, ending of all aristocratic privileges, and the abolition of slavery in the French colonies. Some radical changes also took place. Many important reforms also were taken by Maximilian Robespierre within this 10 months reign of terror. But almost all people were not happy because many innocent people or people also were executed by Maximilian Robespierre. Then what happened to him? Now I am going to discuss Thermidorian reaction. Jacobins. Next point, Jacobins. Jacobins. Who were Jacobins? Jacobins were one group of people who had established their own group. The group to establish national convention and to reform the entire system of France. Now, what were the ideals of the Jacobins? The ideals of the Jacobins, the ideal and policy of the Jacobin was to establish the rule of the convention strongly in France and to oppose those group of people who are opposing the revolt or who are opposing the revolution. Whether that very person was clergy, professor, doctor, ex-noble, whatever he might be, he would be punished. Even a member of Jacobin party also. This 10-month reign, the Jacobins under Maximilian Robespierre established an atmosphere. People were not happy. People were bound to open their mouth, but they were not happy under this 10 months reign of terror under Maximilian Robespierre. Up to this, my guest.